Hello, I'm Lucas,
And I'm Brandy.
and welcome to PVTV. Our first story, the floodwaters from Hurricane Harvey. The storm dumped on parts of the Houston area in late August. Much of the water made its way and eventually drained into the Houston Ship Channel, the busy commercial waterway that allows ships to travel between the Gulf of Mexico and the industrial facilities around Houston. In the weeks since, the water has drained away, but scientists believe many of the contaminants it carried have not.
Of WIU, workers prepare jeans to be dyed in a vivid range of colors. 2 months ago, this factory and this entire city located in China Eastern Province was a much quieter place. Inspection crews from the Environmental Bureau had shut businesses down, cutting electricity and gas so they could determine who was following China's environmental laws and who wasn't. The boss of this factory, who asked that his name not be used for fear of punishment by local officials, says he's never seen anything like it. It's a big impact on our businesses, he says. We couldn't make the delivery date since we were shut down. It's not just our factory. All the factories out here had this issue.
The NFL players are 70% black, its fans are 83% white, and 64% male, according to an online sports site. And when it comes to the controversy over the national anthem and players taking a knee, the statistic is playing a huge role. It leads to the idea, says Amara Rose Davis of Penn State University, that you are good as entertainment, but once you have a voice, I don't want to hear you. You need to shut up and play. Some players, though, clearly are not satisfied to just play and be paid. And so the league is trying to figure out how to keep its owners happy while making sure players have some outlet for their social concerns. They believe that it concerns last week. They began that discussion last week, and it won't be easily resolved standing for the anthem. National policy, but not a rule. This week, at the end of 2 days of meeting with owners and players, NFL Commissioner Rod Goodell explained at a press conference that the league would be working with players on their interest in issues that affect their communities.
In a week that saw two of President Trump's predecessors issue thinly veiled warnings about where the country is heading under Trump's leadership, Arizona Republican Senator John McCain fired off what appeared to be a long-delayed riposte to the man who once mocked his war record. One aspect of the conflict, by the way, that I will never ever countenance is that we drafted the low-income level of America, and the highest income level found a doctor that would say that they had a bone spur, McCain said, in an apparent reference to the diagnosis that allowed Trump to be medically disqualified for service in 1968. Then candidate Trump said McCain was a war hero only because he was captured. I like people that weren't captured, he said. During the Vietnam War, Trump had obtained 4 educational deferments before graduating from college. After receiving his diploma, he was again eligible for the draft, but an armed forces physical examination in 1968 deemed him medically unfit. In with the New York Times, Trump said the bone spurs that kept him from being drafted were temporary. I had a doctor that gave me a letter, a very strong letter on the heels, he told the Times. Over a period of time, it's healed up.
Scientists see something amazing through gravity waves. On October 16th, an event was reported that 2 neutron stars had collided. This was the first time that an event like this has ever been witnessed. The collision was marked by ripples through the fabric of space-time in a flash that was brighter than a billion suns. The reason it could be witnessed is because when the stars collided, they released an intense beam of gamma rays. These gravitational waves are ripples in the fabric of space-time, and these ripples were caught by the US-based LIGO, which is a type of observatory that's different from most other observatories because this observatory doesn't see light. Instead, it searches for gravitational waves.
Elon Musk's high-speed tunnel project may seem like a pipe dream, but the green tech titan has received permission from the state of Maryland to include them on the groundbreaking transportation project. Musk, who is the CEO of SpaceX and Tesla Motors, has described plans for an underground electric train that could transport its passengers from Washington, D.C. to New York City in 29 minutes. That roughly translates to speeds of about 700 miles per hour. Baltimore would be one of the stops on the Hyperloop train, along with Philadelphia. The city officials in Baltimore joined the governor in expressing excitement. "This thing is real. It's exciting to see," Maryland Transportation Secretary Pete Ron said. According to the word transformational may be overused, but this is a technology that leapfrogs any technology that is out there today, and it's going to be here.
Exposure to good bacteria is important. Did you know that all bacteria is not all bad? Bacteria doesn't only make us sick, but it also affects several other things. They regulate our metabolisms, they play roles in obesity and type 2 diabetes, and they affect our moods and mental health. Eating fruits and vegetables and fermented foods can have a restorative effect on your body because it allows good bacteria to survive within you, which is what has such positive effects on your body.
This might be the sweetest game of Where's Waldo you have ever seen. After spending the last 3 years in Australia, 31-year-old Ollie wanted to fly home to London to surprise his mother for her birthday. But he didn't want to just show up on his parents' front door. He wanted to do something more memorable. With the help of his dad and his brother Steve, Ollie dressed up as Waldo from Where's Waldo and hid in the airport terminal where Steve picked up his parents in the video. Ollie can be seen running all around the airport in his red and white striped outfit while his parents search for their surprise. Finally, his mom spots a red and white hat in a cafe and is positive she's found Waldo. But what she doesn't expect is to see her son Ollie under the hat. Ollie jumps up and gives his mom a huge hug as she asks in complete shock, "What are you doing here?"
Thanks to one of the senior residents he cared for, one young man was able to pursue his dreams and give back to the community that helped him for so many years. DeLonte Carter had been a care manager with senior living community Sunrise of Poland near Youngstown, Ohio since June of 2011, but he desperately wanted to become a nurse to continue helping the individuals he serves on a day-to-day basis. After enrolling at a local nursing school, he failed to pass his entrance test, but fortunately, Sunrise resident Jean Williams was a former school teacher and tutor. She stepped in and offered to tutor DeLonte for however long it would take him to learn the material. The next time he went to take his entrance test, he passed with flying colors. Since then, DeLonte has completed nursing school, earned his license, and is now a nurse in training at Sunrise of Poland, where it all began.
This persistent pup didn't crash a wedding for the free booze or buffet. He just wanted a dry place to take a nap. But incidentally, he also found his forever home, too. Malaria Pirani and Matthews Gomes Martins were tying the knot last month in Brazil when it started to rain on the party and the ceremony was moved into a tent. While all the guests were seeking shelter from the storm, they were joined by a muddy stray dog who also wanted refuge. Wedding organizers escorted the dog outside only to have him come back in again later. Then, when the couple was exchanging their vows, the stray wandered in for the third time and plopped down on top of the bride's veil for a nap. "It was a very pleasant surprise for me because I love animals," Marla told. "I like it very much." The newlyweds were so delighted by the dog's foolish behavior, they allowed him to stay for the reception. They even fed him food from the buffet before he left the party and went back to the streets. After the wedding, Pirani and Martins took to social media in hopes of finding the dog once more. A few weeks later, the couple was reunited with the dog and they adopted him into their home. The furry wedding crasher, who they have named Snoop, has become a beloved part of their family since.
Well, that's all the time we have for today. I'm Lucas.
And I'm Brandy.
And we will see you next time.